Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Tank be chopping, and we back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, what we're gonna be doing on this cut is we're gonna be trimming the top a little bit. We're gonna be doing like a mid-drop fade. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make my client look good. So as you can see here, I'm saturating the top of my client's hair, and we're gonna start to set in a guideline, a mohawk style guideline going backwards, as y'all can see here, and we're taking off about 1/2 inch or so. And then once this initial guideline is set in, I'm gonna set in my guidelines going the opposite way, but still pulling up some of that initial guideline. That way we can see how much hair needs to be cut off from the whole top of my client's head. And as you can see, we are moving over all the way to the right. And then once this is done, we're gonna move over to the left side and do the same exact thing. So you really can't see it here, you know, I apologize for my arm getting in the way, but we're doing the same exact thing, pulling up a section of hair, and it's each section that I'm pulling up, it has the initial guideline in it. That way I can actually see how much hair I need to cut off. And then what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna trim the sides down a little bit, basically just debulking, making it a little easier for me to blend into this length. Once again, my client did want just a slight trim on top, wanted like a mid drop fade. I decided to drop the fade. They wanted a regular mid fade, but I wanted to drop it down the back. That way we can keep a lot of this crown area, keep it nice and full. So as you can see, that's basically what I'm doing here, is just debulking the sides with a little bit of shear work, and then I'm gonna go behind this with a number 4 guard. But as you can see, what I'm doing here is just creating some type of shape of how I want my blend to, basically how I want the blend to look. So now that is done, I got my number 4 guard on my Instinct X, and what I'm doing is I'm basically following the same shape with my number 4 guard, blending into the longer length on top, blending into some of that shear work that I did. Now I am gonna go back later on, do a little bit of clipper over comb and do a little bit of shear over comb, but right now I'm just setting in, you know, the foundation of my cut. So once again, we're following that same shape. We're making sure we come up and we drop it down in the back. Once again, that's the preferred shape that we're looking for. I wanted to keep a lot of that, you know, a lot of that length right there in the back. So we are dropping it down in the back, and we're just debulking one number 4 guard. And we're gonna come under this with a number 1 guard lever open, so a 1.5 guard. Well, not a 1.5 guard, but a 1.5, and debulk under this also. And that's what we're doing here. As you can see, I have my 1 guard on my clipper, and just for reference, I am using the Stylecraft or the Gamma Dubs, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just debulking some more of the, you know, the side of my client's head. But as you can see, I'm using an exaggerated flick out motion, and the reason for that is it makes it a lot easier for me to blend, helps create some of that shape that I'm wanting. And now I'm going in with my Cyborg, my Gamma Plus Cyborg trimmer, and what I'm doing is I'm balding out my client. Once again, following that same shape. As you can see on the side, it is about a mid fade, but we are dropping it down in the back. And as you can see, I have sped up this part of the video just because, you know, it would have been forever me just doing it in regular time. So I decided to speed it up a little bit for y'all. So now that we got that all down, we got my initial guideline in there. We're gonna follow this up with the shaver. This is the Babyliss FX1 shaver. And as you can see, the closer I get to that line, the more of a flick out motion I am doing. You really can't see it in the video, but I am relieving some pressure when I'm coming up to that line. I'm not coming all the way up to that line with the same amount of pressure that I'm applying at the bottom of the baldness. You know what I'm saying? You want to relieve some pressure and use a slight flick out motion. That way it blends into that trimmer that's going to blend into the zero here later on. But now that is done, I did decide to go back to regular speed on the video. I am blow drying my client's hair a little bit, just because it's going to make it a little easier for me to blend into, and so I can get somewhat of a finished look before, you know, that way I can see how the hair is laying before I actually start fading. So all I'm doing is blow drying it a little bit on top, combing through my client's hair, making sure that I'm combing his hair back, that way I can see the way the hair is gonna lay before I actually start blending into, you know, into this length on top. But as you can see, we got the guideline, the bald guideline in there, and a little bit of the blend work done. But now what I'm doing here is I'm taking my Instinct X once again. I'm going in with my clipper lever all the way open, setting in my next guideline. And the thing about this guideline is I want to take my time setting it in, because I don't have a lot of room to work with, but I want to give myself enough room to where this blend doesn't look too compressed. I know sometimes we see compressed fades, or a fade that just has a lot of dark areas in the blend, and that's because it's really compressed, and that's something that I didn't want to do. Me personally, I'm not a fan of compressed fades, so I wanted to stretch this out, but at the same time, I knew that I didn't have a lot of room to work with, but at the same time, we're gonna make sure that we stretch it. So after we went in with the clipper lever open, this is my 1 guard lever open once again, following the same shape, flicking out, once again, just trying to set it under the guideline, but not too harsh of a guideline. That's the main reason why I am flicking so much. If I was gonna put in a harsher guideline, I wouldn't be flicking at all. But as you can see, I'm using a flick out motion just to blend into some of this bulk. That way it's a little easier for me. If I decided to go in and not flick out at all, it would make it a lot more difficult for me to blend. So now that that is done, I am taking my number 3 guard and my lever. I am starting off with my lever open, and I'm gonna do a little bit of down fading here. So I'm taking my number 3 guard, blending into the bulk once again. And as you can see, I'm floating the clipper also, and that's gonna help alleviate some work that I'm gonna need to do later with either shear over comb or clipper over comb. But as you can see, my lever is closed now, and I'm coming right below what I just previously did, still flicking and still floating my clipper. That way, once again, it can blend into the bulk of this haircut, and just so it can have a nice transition. So now that that is done, I am taking my number 2 guard, and I'm gonna be adjusting my lever as I feel needed, just to blend into this bulk. Once again, I know you're gonna hear me saying that a lot, but that's basically the gist of this haircut, is blending into this bulk that we have on top. Here is my 1.5 guard lever closed. And as you can see, once again, blending, fading as we're coming up. Here is my 0 or my half guard, whatever you want to call it. Lever is all the way open, so this basically makes this about a 1. So now I'm flicking that bottom line, well, not the very bottom line, but I'm flicking that middle line away. And I'm gonna have to adjust my lever closed little by little to get that line to be completely erased. And as you saw me do there, I did close my lever a little bit, and I'm gonna be following this same line, flicking at this line, trying to erase this line completely before I move on to my next step. Now here's my lever all the way closed, and as you can see, the blend is starting to look a little more buttery, a little more blended, as y'all can see. But we are gonna, make sure that we're taking our time, making sure we're being really consistent, and make sure that we have this blend looking nice. So now that that is done, I decided to go back in with my 1 guard lever open, just doing a little bit of cleanup work, some detail work, just to get this blend to look better. There is a little bit of discrepancy still in this blend, so that's why I decided to put my 1 guard with my lever open once again. And y'all probably really can't see this in the video, but I'm really just using the corner of my clipper. Now I'm going in with my clipper halfway open, and I'm attacking this bottom line. So I'm really just barely tapping at that line, and I'm gonna be adjusting my lever closed little by little until this bottom line becomes mostly erased. And if it doesn't become erased with my clipper closed, I will go back in with my trimmer. However, I feel that I do end up blending this line out without having to use my trimmer once again. So as you can see, I'm just flicking at this line, and I'm gonna go over it a good amount of times, adjusting my lever as needed. To me, this is probably one of the most important parts of the blend. You wanna make sure that that bottom line is flicked out, is blended out, and it transitions well into the longer hair, into that 1. And as you can see, the front of the blend more towards where the C cup is, that part looks pretty blended. Now towards the back, as you can see, I still have a little bit of work to do, so that's what I'm working on now. All right, so now that that is done, I'm gonna go on and do a little bit of clipper over comb. So all this hair that y'all see hanging over my comb, that's basically what I'm trying to cut off, just so it can transition into this longer hair from the sides. And we're just gonna do this a little bit of times, coming across the hair, and then you'll see me going up like this, using a slight flick out motion. And for me, I do that because I feel that that leaves a nicer transition. However, sometimes I do go across just to really debulk more of the hair. But then when I start coming up, that's when I'm really actually blending. And that's just basically what I do. It's just a technique I learned, and I've been doing it, and I feel that it gives me a good overall product, a good finished look on what I'm actually trying to achieve. Sometimes when I go across when I'm debulking, or when I go across with my clipper over comb, I tend to take off too much hair. So that's obviously something I'm not trying to do. So that's the reason why I decided to go up with it and help flick out, and it just gives more of a better transition in my opinion. But as y'all can see now, we are doing the lineup. Once again, taking my cyborgs, lining my man up. This is probably one of my go-to trimmers right here. But we're hitting up that lineup, hitting that vertical bar, and then we're gonna hit the C cup, give a nice curve to it, make sure that we got my man looking nice and sharp. And then I'm gonna go back in and do blending shear over comb, just so it can look a little better and a little more blended. But as y'all can see, that blend is already looking, it's already looking pretty icy, at least to me. But we just going back in and touching it up, refining it a little bit, making sure we're taking this haircut to the next level and giving my man a nice cut. So this is my one guard, adjusting my lever as needed, as y'all can see. But check that blend out. As you can see, man, that blend is looking nice. It just looked good in my eyes. But once we finished that side, we did move on to the opposite side. But as y'all can see, I didn't record that side, so I'm moving on to the back. And we're basically doing the same exact steps. I went in with my clipper open, set in my initial guideline. Now this is my one guard lever open. Here is my 3 guard, blending into the bulk. And then once we finish the work with the 3 guard, we're gonna revert down to the 2 guard. Then I may just adjust my lever as needed. Once again, I wanna keep a lot of this bulk, so I'm not trying to go too high with the blend. This is my 1.5 guard. And then here is my half guard lever open, which once again basically makes that a 1. And I'm just gonna adjust my lever closed little by little until this section becomes erased, and then I'm gonna start to attack that bottom line. But as you can see, man, y'all can see the right side of this blend. Y'all can see it looks pretty good. The left side looked good. Y'all saw me attack that side and how I attacked it, and we basically did the same thing on the right side. So if you need to rewatch it, feel free to rewind it, rewatch it again. To me, like, I think this is like a really good blend. This actual blend that I did on this client right here, it's probably one of my favorite blends that I've done in a while. You know what I'm saying? I like the drop fade look. I like the longer hair on top. I just think I did a good overall cut on this video. So now we're going back in with the 0 guard. We're gonna be adjusting that lever as needed, and y'all can kind of see on the right side of the blend, it looks a little dark. Now that's something I wish that I would have took a little more time on, but mind y'all guys, I am doing these haircuts like still within my normal appointment slot, so I have to kind of, you know, pick up the pace and go, because you know when you're recording a video, well, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you're recording, it does take a little longer. However, I still had people coming in after him, so I had to make sure that I kept my appointments on time. So you know, I wish I would have attacked the right side of this blend a little more, but nonetheless, I still think it came out good. Still think it's a good overall cut. Now I'm going in with my clipper, adjusting my lever close, and I did decide to switch over to my Rebels, and the only reason why I did that was my Instinct X actually died on me, so that's the main reason why I switched over. Now we're doing shear over comb, well, blending shear over comb, just blending in a lot of this bulk into the bottom of this blend. And then as you can see, we're hitting up my client's lineup with the razor, making sure we get these lines to look nice and sharp. Y'all check that blend out, man. Your boy was working on this when we put in work. I was in my bag. As y'all can see, that blend looks nice. That, you know, that hair on top is just flowing well. But check it out, man. This is how my client came into the shop looking. This is the before look. And this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if new to my channel, make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. Remember guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area and want a haircut from your boy, you can go to my website, tankbechopping.com. You can book there. If you want me to record it for YouTube, make sure to put that in the comment section. If you want to purchase any of these tools, you can go to fwbarbersupply.com. Use my discount code TANK10 and save yourself some money. But once again, guys, check out this haircut. Let me know what y'all think about this cut down in the description. Like I said, I think I got down. Y'all let me know, man. But that's basically it for this video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go.